Right now, in this exact moment, you are missing your own life. You are physically here. You are breathing the air in whatever room or vehicle you currently occupy. But psychologically, you are somewhere else entirely. You are agonizing over a conversation that ended 3 days ago. You are mentally rehearsing a high-stakes meeting that does not happen until tomorrow. Or, most dangerously of all, you are deferring your entire existence to a mythical, stress-free future that has not yet arrived. Look at the way you talk to yourself. Listen to the script running on a continuous loop in the background of your mind. Once I get this promotion, things will slow down. Once we finally buy the house, we can relax. Once the kids are a little older, I will have time for myself. Once I retire, I will finally start living. You have convinced yourself that your current life is merely a rehearsal. You are treating today as an uncomfortable, heavily congested waiting room that you must silently endure before your actual life is allowed to begin. You believe that the present moment is just a bridge, a noisy, stressful obstacle course that connects you to a quiet, peaceful paradise called someday. I need you to hear the brutal, uncompromising truth. Someday is a lie. It is an illusion manufactured by a brain that is evolutionarily wired for survival, not for peace. The finish line you are sprinting toward does not exist. The exact moment you achieve the promotion, buy the house, or reach that monumental financial milestone, your brain will flood you with a temporary, intoxicating hit of dopamine. And then, almost immediately, it will move the goalpost. It will point to the next mountain. It will whisper that the real happiness, the true security, is actually 10 more years down the road. If you do not wake up and recognize this biological trap, you will spend your entire life in the waiting room. You will reach the end of your days only to realize you spent decades preparing to live, but never actually lived. This audiobook is not a soft, spiritual guide to mindfulness. We are not going to talk about sitting cross-legged on a mountain, burning incense, and attempting to empty your mind. This is not about passive tranquility. We are going to look at presence as the ultimate strategic advantage and the single most critical survival skill in the modern world. Because right now, you are bleeding time. And unlike money, status, or power, time is the only currency in the universe that possesses a hard, non-negotiable biological expiration date. In the chapters that follow, we are going to tear down the psychological traps keeping you disconnected. We will confront the terrifying math of your own mortality, shatter the toxic performance of productivity that society calls busy, and examine the profound, deeply uncomfortable reason why you use your digital devices to emotionally avoid your own reality. You are going to learn how to drop the anchor. You will learn how to extract maximum depth and awe from an ordinary Tuesday. You will learn how to command a room and transform your relationships using the rarest asset on earth, your undivided attention. And you will learn how to ruthlessly audit your trajectory so that when your time inevitably runs out, you do not leave this world with your best work still buried inside of you. The past is a memory that cannot be changed. The future is a hallucination that is not guaranteed. The friction, the mess, the beauty, and the chaos of right now is the only thing you will ever truly possess. It is time to step out of the waiting room. Welcome to the present. Chapter 1. The Arrival Fallacy. Imagine a man who has dedicated his entire life to a singular goal. Let us say he is an athlete, fighting for a world championship. For a decade, he sacrifices absolutely everything. He sacrifices his friendships. He sacrifices his physical comfort. He eats bland food, wakes up before the sun, and pushes his body to the absolute brink of collapse day after day. Whenever he feels the crushing weight of exhaustion, whenever he questions if the pain is worth it, he tells himself a story. He says, "When I win that belt, everything will change. When they raise my hand, all of this pain will be justified. I will finally be happy. I will finally be enough." Then, the night of the championship arrives. He fights brilliantly. He wins. The crowd of 20,000 people erupts into a deafening roar. The referee raises his hand. The heavy gold belt is strapped around his waist. He is crying. The flashbulbs are going off. It is the absolute pinnacle of human validation. But fast forward 3 hours. The arena is empty. The crowd has gone home. The adrenaline has left his bloodstream. He is sitting alone in a quiet hotel room. He looks at the gold belt sitting on the edge of the bed. He stares at it in the silence, and slowly, a terrifying, suffocating realization begins to wash over him. He feels exactly the same. He is still the same person, with the same insecurities, the same baseline anxieties, and the same quiet fears. The belt did not magically rewire his soul. The external victory did not fix his internal reality. In fact, he feels a sudden, profound emptiness because the single driving force that organized his entire life for the last 10 years is suddenly gone. This is the archetype of the empty champion, and it is the perfect illustration of one of the most dangerous psychological traps in the human experience. Psychologists call it the arrival fallacy. The arrival fallacy is the deeply held, entirely false belief that once you arrive at a certain destination, you will experience sustained, permanent happiness. It is the illusion that a specific external achievement will permanently alter your internal weather. You do not have to be a world champion to fall into this trap. You do it every single day. You operate under a fraudulent psychological contract known as the when-then contract. When I hit 6 figures, then I will be secure. When I lose 20 pounds, then I will love myself. When I get married, then I will not feel lonely. I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now and genuinely think about this. Name the last 3 major things you told yourself you absolutely had to have to be happy. Maybe it was a specific job. Maybe it was a car. Maybe it was a financial milestone. Look back at the exact moment you achieved them. How long did the joy actually last? A week? A few days? An afternoon? You got the promotion you spent 3 years agonizing over. You celebrated on a Friday. But by Tuesday morning, you were sitting at a slightly larger desk, answering the exact same stressful emails, dealing with the exact same office politics, and feeling the exact same baseline level of anxiety you felt the week before. The scenery changed. The mind did not. Why does this happen? Why are we continually tricked by this illusion? To understand this, you have to look at the biology of the brain. Your brain was not designed by evolution to make you happy. Your brain was designed to keep you alive and to keep you moving forward. The chemical that drives you, dopamine, is widely misunderstood. People think dopamine is the reward chemical. It is not. Dopamine is the molecule of anticipation. It is the molecule of pursuit. Your brain releases massive amounts of dopamine when you are chasing a goal, specifically to motivate you to secure resources for your survival. But the exact moment you catch the prey, the exact moment you cross the finish line, the dopamine crashes. The pursuit is over. The biological mechanism shuts off. Nature does not want you to be permanently satisfied. If our ancestors killed a mammoth and felt permanently fulfilled, they would sit around the fire, stop hunting, and eventually starve to death. Evolution requires dissatisfaction. It requires you to always want more. So, the brain plays a trick on you. It makes you believe the finish line is the answer, and as soon as you cross it, it instantly wipes your memory of the satisfaction and points you toward a new, further finish line. When you do not understand this biological game, you become a victim of it. You spend your 20s grinding to reach your 30s. You spend your 30s grinding to reach your 40s. You treat your entire current existence as a massive inconvenience. You look at your daily life, your commute, your chores, your ordinary evenings with your family, as obstacles standing in the way of your real life. But the tragedy of the arrival fallacy is not just that the destination fails to make you happy. The true tragedy is what it costs you along the way. While you are staring relentlessly at the horizon, you are completely blind to the ground you are walking on. You are missing the subtle, quiet beauty of a normal Tuesday morning. You are missing your children growing up because you are physically in the room with them, but psychologically living 5 years in the future. You are missing your own youth. You are wishing away the only time you actually have in exchange for a future that will never feel the way you think it will. So, how do we break the contract? How do we escape the illusion of someday? You do not have to give up your ambition. You do not have to stop setting goals or building your business. The goal is not the problem. The timeline is the problem. You must completely detach your identity and your sense of peace from the finish line. You have to accept with cold, rational clarity that the promotion will not save you. The money will not save you. The relationship will not save you. They are external things. They can provide comfort and they can provide security, but they cannot provide fulfillment. Fulfillment can only be extracted from the present moment. The masters of life, the people who possess true, unshakable psychological freedom, do not live for the finish line. They live for the process. They find absolute depth in the simple act of doing the work today. They do not lift weights just to look a certain way in 6 months. They find joy in the heavy, burning friction of the iron today. They do not build a business just to sell it. They find purpose in the daily problem solving. When you stop treating the present moment as a toll booth you have to pass through and start treating it as the ultimate destination, the game completely flips. You realize that the waiting room is not a waiting room at all. It is the main event. Look around you. The life you are currently living, the one you are so desperate to escape, the one you are rushing through, is the life you once dreamed of having 5 years ago. You are already standing on the mountain you used to look up at. Stop waiting for the confetti to fall. Stop waiting for permission to be peaceful. You have arrived. You are here. Now, start living like it. Chapter 2. The Hedonic Treadmill. You sign the heavy stack of paperwork. You take the keys. You drive the luxury car off the lot. The leather is flawless. The steering wheel feels dense and expensive in your hands. The engine operates with a quiet, powerful hum that the cars you drove in your 20s never had. For the first 2 weeks, every time you catch your reflection in a glass storefront, you feel a profound, intoxicating surge of arrival. You have made it. You are successful. The car is no longer a symbol of your ultimate triumph. It is just the metal box you sit in. While you are trapped in morning traffic, there are empty coffee cups rattling in the passenger door. The new car smell has entirely faded. And as you sit at a red light, feeling the familiar, low-grade anxiety about your upcoming workday, you catch yourself staring at a newer, much more expensive sports car in the lane next to you. You feel a sudden, hollow itch in your chest. The itch for more. You did not fail. You did not do anything wrong. You simply became a victim of the most ruthless, efficient psychological machine inside the human mind. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. You probably know it by a more common name, the hedonic treadmill. When you walk on a physical treadmill, you can sprint as fast as humanly possible. You can exhaust your lungs, burn your muscles, and sweat through your clothes. But when the machine stops and you look around the room, you realize you have not actually moved a single inch forward. The hedonic treadmill works the exact same way with your baseline of happiness. Human beings are extraordinarily adaptable creatures. It is our greatest evolutionary advantage. If you drop a human into the freezing Arctic or the blistering Sahara, they will eventually adapt to the extreme temperature. But this physical superpower is a psychological curse. We do not just adapt to temperature. We adapt to comfort. We adapt to success. When you experience a massive positive change in your life, a huge raise, a beautiful new home, a new romantic relationship, your happiness spikes. But the spike is temporary. Within a shockingly short period of time, your nervous system recalibrates. The extraordinary becomes ordinary. The miracle becomes the new baseline, and your happiness level drops right back down to exactly where it was before the event occurred. We are the descendants of the perpetually dissatisfied. If our prehistoric ancestors killed a mammoth, dragged it back to the cave, and felt permanently fulfilled, they would have stopped hunting. They would have sat by the fire, entirely content, until they starved to death. Evolution required them to always be hungry for the next meal. Nature designed your brain to treat every single victory as temporary. But we do not live in caves anymore. We live in a hyper-consumerist society that actively weaponizes this biological flaw against us. Society tells you that the reason you feel empty is simply because you do not have enough yet. The treadmill promises that the next purchase, the next zero in your bank account, or the next level of status will finally be the one that permanently fixes your internal weather. Look closely at the people who have spent their entire lives running at maximum speed on this machine. Look at the executives burning 80 hours a week to buy vacation homes they never have time to visit. Look at the people who have acquired everything the modern world tells them they should want. Are they peaceful? Are they present? Are they deeply fundamentally satisfied? No. They are exhausted. Most people believe they are running toward freedom. They believe that if they just acquire enough money and enough luxury, they will finally escape the friction of normal human existence. They do not realize they are just upgrading their cage. A panic attack feels exactly the same on a private jet as it does on a public bus. Chronic loneliness is just as devastating in a 10,000 square foot mansion as it is in a cramped studio apartment. The external environment changes, but the internal void remains entirely untouched. You cannot buy your way out of the human condition. If acquiring more external validation is mathematically incapable of solving an internal problem, how do you step off the machine? You have to fundamentally change the geometry of your life. You have to stop playing the game of width and start playing the game of depth. Modern society is entirely obsessed with width. Width is horizontal expansion. It is acquiring more money, more followers, more gadgets, more stamps in your passport, more acquaintances. Width is intoxicating because it is frictionless. You can buy a new watch or scroll through 100 photos while completely distracted. Width requires absolutely no emotional presence. Depth is entirely different. Depth is a vertical drop directly into the present moment. Depth is taking the life you already have, the relationships you have already built, and the objects you already own, and extracting the absolute maximum amount of experience from them. Look at the device you are using to listen to this audiobook right now. A few years ago, you probably anticipated buying it. You paid a premium for it. It is an absolute miracle of modern engineering, capable of accessing the entirety of human knowledge in seconds. But right now, it is just a dull piece of glass and metal that you carelessly toss onto your nightstand. The object did not change. Your attention changed. To step off the hedonic treadmill, you must force your attention back to the things you have already acquired. You do not need a new, bigger house. You need to actually inhabit the one you have. You need to sit in your living room without a screen in your hand, look at the walls that keep you warm, and realize that a younger version of yourself once prayed for a space exactly like this. You do not need to constantly seek out new, thrilling people to entertain you. You need to sit across the table from your partner, look them directly in the eyes, and ask them a question you have never asked before. You need to drop the vertical anchor into the relationship you already possess. The treadmill demands that you sprint relentlessly into the future, always chasing the mirage of more. But true wealth is not measured by what you acquire. It is measured by what you can fully experience. Stop running, step off the machine, look at the incredible, messy, beautiful life you have already built. The cage door is wide open. All you have to do is stop upgrading the bars and walk out. Chapter 3. The Math of Mortality. There is a terrifying flaw in the human operating system. It is a psychological blind spot so massive and so perfectly engineered that it dictates almost every mistake you make regarding how you spend your time. Your brain is completely incapable of comprehending its own expiration date. From an evolutionary standpoint, this makes perfect sense. If our ancestors woke up every single morning acutely aware that they were going to die, they would have been paralyzed by existential dread. They would not have hunted, built shelters, or reproduced. So, the brain developed a brilliant defense mechanism. It created the illusion of infinite time. It convinced you that the horizon goes on forever. This illusion is the reason you casually defer the most important things in your life. It is the reason you say, "I will call my parents this weekend. I am just too busy right now." It is the reason you tell your spouse, "We will take that trip next year when things calm down." It is the reason you let days, weeks, and months slip through your fingers while scrolling on a screen, entirely numb to the fact that you are spending a currency you can never, ever earn back. You operate under the assumption that the hourglass is full, but you cannot see the bottom of the glass, and you have absolutely no idea how much sand is actually left. It is time to shatter the illusion. We are going to do something deeply uncomfortable. We are going to look past the vague, comforting lies of someday and plenty of time, and we are going to look at the cold, unforgiving mathematics of mortality. I want you to think about someone you love deeply who does not live in the same house as you. For most adults, this is their aging parents. Let us say your parents are currently 65 years old. The average life expectancy in the modern world hovers around 80 years. That means, mathematically speaking, you have roughly 15 years left with them. 15 years sounds like a long time. It feels like an era. It feels like an ocean of time, completely justifying your decision to put off calling them this Sunday. But you do not actually have 15 years. Let us look at the actual math of your reality. Because you live in a different city, or simply because your life is consumed by work and obligations, you probably only see your parents physically twice a year. You see them once over the holidays and maybe once for a summer visit. Now, do the calculation. 2 visits per year times 15 years equals 30 visits left. You do not have 15 years left with your parents. You have 30 actual encounters left. You have 30 more times you will sit across a table from them. 30 more hugs. 30 more goodbyes at the airport. You can count the remaining times you will see the people who gave you life on your own 2 hands and feet. When you look at your life through the lens of events rather than the illusion of years, the panic sets in. The math is brutal. It does not care about your busy schedule. It does not care about your career trajectory. The math only counts down. And this brutal math applies to absolutely everything you hold dear. If you have a young child, society tells you that you have them for a lifetime. But the reality is, you only get 18 summers with them before they become independent adults, heavily influenced by their peers, building a life of their own. If your child is 10 years old, you do not have a childhood left to enjoy. You have exactly 8 summers. That is it. You only have a finite number of books you will read before your eyes fail. You have a finite number of walks you will take with your dog. You have a highly limited number of days where your physical body will operate at its absolute peak, free from chronic pain or illness. We avoid this math because it hurts. We avoid it because looking directly at our own mortality feels morbid. But ask any hospice nurse who has spent years sitting at the bedsides of the dying. Ask the professionals who witness the final transition of human life every single day. They will tell you a profound secret about the deathbed. When the curtain is closing, the illusion of infinite time completely evaporates. The ego vanishes. The impressive resume, the bank account, and the arguments won on the internet are instantly revealed for exactly what they are: meaningless noise. What the dying talk about is the math. They talk about the visits they did not make. They talk about the relationships they starved of attention because they were too busy chasing the horizon. They feel the agonizing weight of the casual deferment of love. The tragedy of the human experience is not that we die. The tragedy is that the piercing, beautiful clarity of what actually matters almost always arrives too late. But it does not have to be that way for you. You are listening to this right now, which means you still have breath in your lungs. You still have sand in the glass. You have the ultimate opportunity to take the profound clarity of the deathbed and pull it directly into your current reality. Looking at the math of your mortality is not supposed to depress you. It is supposed to wake you up. It is the ultimate psychological pattern interrupt. When you realize that you only have 30 visits left with someone you love, how does that change the next visit? Do you spend it staring at your phone, answering work emails, and complaining about the traffic? No. You treat that visit like it is sacred, because mathematically it is. You put the phone in another room. You look them directly in the eyes. You listen to their stories, even the ones they have told you a dozen times before, and you soak in the exact cadence of their voice. You extract every single drop of depth from the interaction because you know with absolute certainty that the counter has just ticked down to 29. Urgency is not a state of panic. Urgency is a superpower. When you live with the conscious awareness that your time is expiring, you automatically stop tolerating the trivial. You stop allowing toxic people to drain your energy. You stop staying in jobs that make you miserable, and you stop waiting for the perfect moment to execute your dreams. The perfect moment is a myth. The waiting room is a trap. Do the math. Look at the numbers. Let the shock of reality burn away your excuses, and let it force you violently, beautifully, into the present moment. Chapter 4. The Fragmented Mind. When was the last time someone asked you how you were doing, and your answer did not include the word busy? Think about the conversations you have with your colleagues, your friends, and your family. I am just so busy right now. Things are crazy at work. I am completely overwhelmed, but pushing through. We do not say these things as complaints. We say them as subtle boasts. In the modern world, society has managed to pull off a brilliant, toxic psychological trick. It has convinced you that exhaustion is a status symbol. It has taught you that a completely packed calendar, a vibrating phone, and a chronic lack of sleep are the defining characteristics of a successful human being. We wear our busyness like a heavy gold medal. We use it to signal to the world and to ourselves that we are important, because if we are this busy, we must be valuable, right? Let us strip away the ego and look at the terrifying reality of what is actually happening. Busy is not a badge of honor. Busy is a confession. When you tell someone you are entirely consumed by busyness, you are not telling them you are successful. You are telling them you are out of control. You are admitting that you have surrendered your sovereignty to your environment. You are confessing that you lack the discipline to enforce boundaries, the courage to say no, and the clarity to distinguish between what is truly essential and what is merely loud. But the true danger of the modern performance of productivity is not just a lack of time. It is the complete destruction of your cognitive depth. Look at how you operate on a typical Tuesday. You sit at your desk to do deep, important work, but you have 40 tabs open in your browser. Your phone is resting face up next to your keyboard. A notification slides across your screen. A Slack message pops up. An email arrives. You bounce from the document to the email to the group chat and back to the document, all within the span of 3 minutes. You call this multitasking. You think you are being highly efficient. Neurologically, multitasking is a biological impossibility. Your brain cannot process 2 complex cognitive tasks simultaneously. It is simply physically incapable of it. What you are actually doing is called rapid context switching. You are forcing your brain to violently tear its attention away from one target and frantically reorient it to another. And every single time you switch, there is a tax to pay. Neuroscientists call this attention residue. When you glance at an incoming email while writing a report, your brain does not instantly snap back to the report. A piece of your cognitive bandwidth remains stuck on the email. By the time you have switched contexts 20 times in an hour, your mind is entirely fragmented. Your attention is shattered into a dozen microscopic pieces, scattered across a digital wasteland. You are never fully present anywhere. You are always 20% somewhere else. This is the tragedy of the fragmented mind. You are living your entire life at a shallow depth. When you operate in a state of constant, fragmented busyness, you become incapable of experiencing the texture of reality. You eat your lunch while staring at a spreadsheet, so you never actually taste the food. You play with your child while thinking about a client call, so you never actually feel the joy of the interaction. You are physically moving through your life, but you are completely anesthetized to it. In fact, for many people, busyness is the anesthetic. We stay frantically busy on purpose, because if we stop, if we close the laptop, put down the phone, and sit in a quiet room, the silence becomes deafening. In the silence, we have to face the uncomfortable questions. Am I happy? Is this the life I actually wanted to build? What am I running from? Constant optimization and relentless productivity are often just socially acceptable forms of emotional avoidance. If you are constantly optimizing, you are completely shielded from the terrifying vulnerability of actually experiencing. So, how do we stop the performance? How do we reclaim our depth? We have to adopt a philosophy of ruthless elimination. driven by a mathematical law known as the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule states that in almost any system, 80% of the results come from 20% of the inputs. In business, 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your clients. But this law also governs your life energy. 80% of your fulfillment, your progress, and your deepest joy comes from 20% of the things you do. The deep conversations with your partner, the focused, uninterrupted hours of creative work, the quiet mornings. The remaining 80% of your calendar, it is shallow noise. It is the pointless meetings that could have been an email. It is the endless scrolling. It is the superficial obligations you agree to because you are too afraid to disappoint strangers. To master the present, you must become a savage editor of your own life. You have to stop trying to do more things faster and start doing fewer things better. You must actively choose to let small, unimportant fires burn so you can protect the core architecture of your peace. You have to become comfortable with the word no. When you say no to a shallow distraction, you are not being selfish. You are fiercely protecting the 20%. You are defending your right to live a life of depth. The modern world wants you fragmented. A distracted, exhausted, busy population is highly profitable. They are easy to sell to. They are easy to manipulate. True rebellion in the 21st century is singular focus. True status is not having a calendar so packed you cannot breathe. True status is having a blank afternoon, a calm nervous system, and the ability to look someone directly in the eye without a single piece of your mind wishing you were somewhere else. Take off the badge honor. It is a useless, heavy piece of metal. Reclaim your attention, reclaim your depth, and stop using your ambition as an excuse to avoid your own life. Chapter 5. The Friction of Now. Live in the present. It is the most relentlessly repeated piece of advice in the modern world. You see it printed on coffee mugs. You read it in best-selling books. It is the central thesis of every meditation app sitting on your phone. It sounds incredibly simple. It sounds peaceful. But if the present moment is the ultimate destination, why do you fight so desperately to avoid it? If we are completely honest, the present moment is rarely a peaceful sunset. For the vast majority of your life, the present moment is the friction of your actual reality. It is the unwashed dishes in the sink. It is the subtle, nagging ache in your lower back. It is the quiet, terrifying realization that you are unhappy in your career. It is the uncomfortable, heavy tension sitting across the table from your partner after an unresolved argument. The present contains discomfort, and human beings are biologically engineered to flee from discomfort. This brings us to one of the most confronting truths you will ever have to face about yourself. Distraction is not a time management problem. Distraction is emotional avoidance. Let us test this theory right now. I want you to imagine a scenario, or better yet, I want you to physically execute this exercise the moment this chapter ends. Go into a room in your house. Leave your phone outside. Turn off the television. Turn off the music. Do not bring a book, a journal, a cup of coffee, or a pet. Sit in a chair by yourself in total unbroken silence for 60 seconds. 60 seconds. That is all. Do you know what will happen? By second number 12, your skin will start to crawl. You will feel a physical burning urge to stand up. Your brain will suddenly invent a dozen urgent tasks you supposedly need to complete right this very second. I should check that email. I need to take the trash out. Did I leave the oven on? I should add milk to the grocery list. Your mind will violently rebel against the stillness. Why? Because when you strip away the external noise, you are left completely alone in the room with yourself. You are left alone with your own unvarnished thoughts, your own underlying anxieties, and the quiet truth about your life. And for most people, that is absolutely terrifying. When the present moment becomes too heavy, the mind uses mental time travel as an escape hatch. It escapes to the past. You ruminate on an old mistake. You replay a conversation from 5 years ago, thinking of all the clever things you should have said. You bathe in the warm, toxic waters of regret or nostalgia. You do this because feeling regret over the past is a known, familiar pain. It is much easier to process than the raw, unpredictable friction of right now. Or, more commonly, your mind escapes to the future. You start planning. You start worrying. You invent hypothetical catastrophes that will likely never happen, and you spend hours trying to solve them in your head. You do this because worrying gives you a false sense of agency. Anxiety is the ego's way of pretending it can control the uncontrollable future. And when mental time travel is not enough to numb the friction, you reach for the ultimate shield: your screens. You do not open social media or the news because you are genuinely curious about what your acquaintances ate for lunch or what a politician said across the globe. You open the app because you felt a microscopic spike of boredom, a sudden wave of sadness, or a brief flash of anxiety, and you needed a digital anesthetic to immediately numb the pain. Every mindless scroll is an act of running away. We use busyness, technology, and mental time travel to build a fortress against the present. But here is the devastating cost of that emotional avoidance. You cannot selectively numb your emotions. If you use distraction to numb the boredom, the anxiety, and the sadness of the present moment, you are simultaneously numbing your capacity to feel the awe, the connection, and the profound beauty that only exist in the exact same place. You numb the dark, but you also extinguish the light. You end up living a flat, gray, sedated existence in the waiting room. So, how do we stop running? How do we build the emotional endurance required to actually inhabit our lives? You have to change your fundamental relationship with friction. When you feel the discomfort of the present moment, your instinct is to fix it or flee from it. I am asking you to do something entirely different. I am asking you to sit in the fire. The next time you feel the urge to distract yourself, the next time you are waiting in line and automatically reach for your phone, or the next time you feel a wave of anxiety wash over you, do not reach for the shield. Drop the anchor. Acknowledge the feeling. Mentally label it. I am feeling incredibly bored right now. I am feeling deeply anxious right now. Do not judge the emotion. Do not berate yourself for feeling it. And above all, do not try to solve it. Just observe it. Emotions are like waves. They rise, they crest, and they break. If you fight the wave, it will exhaust you. If you run from the wave, it will chase you for the rest of your life. But if you stand your ground, plant your feet, and let the wave crash completely over you, you will realize something profound. It is just water. It cannot actually hurt you. The boredom will not kill you. The anxiety will not destroy you. The sadness will wash through your nervous system and eventually recede. When you prove to your brain that you can survive the friction of the present moment without reaching for a pacifier, your baseline of confidence completely shifts. You stop fearing your own internal weather. You stop needing to constantly escape. The friction of the present moment is the price of admission for a conscious life. It is messy, It is uncomfortable. It is deeply vulnerable. But it is where the music actually plays. It is where love is actually felt. It is the only place where you are actually alive. Stop running from your own reality. The fire will not burn you. It will forge you. Chapter 6. The Currency of Presence. You are sitting on the carpet of your living room. Your child is sitting across from you, building a tower out of brightly colored plastic blocks. They place the final piece on top, look up at you with wide, expectant eyes, and wait for your reaction. You smile, you nod, you say, "Wow, that looks amazing." Your eyes are glued to the glowing glass rectangle in the palm of your hand. You are reading an email from a client. You are mentally drafting a response about a supply chain issue. Physically, you are sitting on the floor of your home. You are occupying space. But psychologically, you are miles away. You are a ghost haunting your own living room. Your child smiles back at you, but the moment is entirely hollow. They know you are not really there. Children are highly attuned biological lie detectors. They do not care about your physical proximity. They only care about your cognitive bandwidth. And in that exact moment, your bandwidth is entirely bankrupt. We make a massive, devastating mistake in the modern world. We confuse physical proximity with presence. Proximity is incredibly cheap. It requires absolutely no effort to simply exist in the same room as another human being. You can sit at the same dinner table, sleep in the same bed, and ride in the same car while remaining completely disconnected from the person sitting inches away from you. Presence, on the other hand, is the most expensive thing you can possibly give someone. We live in an attention economy. Every single corporation, algorithm, and billboard on Earth is spending billions of dollars to harvest a fraction of your cognitive focus. Your attention has been chopped up, commodified, and sold to the highest bidder. Because of this, undivided attention has become the absolute rarest asset on the planet. When you give someone your undivided attention, you are giving them something that money cannot buy. You are giving them your life force. To put it in the sharpest possible terms, attention is the highest form of love. If you tell your partner you love them, but you cannot maintain eye contact with them for more than 60 seconds without feeling the physical urge to check your phone, your words are empty. You are handing them counterfeit currency. They will smile and accept it, but deep down, their nervous system registers the devaluation. They feel entirely unseen. They feel unimportant. This devaluation is destroying the fabric of human connection. Think about the modern romantic dinner. You walk into a beautiful, dimly lit restaurant. Look around at the tables. You will see couples sitting across from each other, surrounded by expensive food and a romantic atmosphere, both silently staring down at their screens. They dressed up. They paid for the experience, but they are entirely incapable of experiencing each other. They are trapped in the illusion of multitasking. Society has sold you the lie that you can split your attention and still maintain your effectiveness. You believe you can listen to your spouse vent about their day while simultaneously reading the news. You believe you can be a great parent while keeping one eye on your work notifications. You cannot. When you divide your attention, you are not doing two things at once. You are simply failing at two things simultaneously. When you try to listen to someone while looking at a screen, your brain introduces micro delays into the conversation. Your responses become slightly delayed. The tone of your voice becomes flat and mechanical. Your facial expressions fail to mirror theirs. The person talking to you instantly feels the friction. They realize they are competing with a machine for your validation, and they subconsciously pull back. They stop sharing the deep, vulnerable truths about their day. They stick to superficial logistics. The relationship slowly, quietly starves to death. Not because of a massive betrayal, but simply because it lacked the oxygen of your attention. To master the present, you must completely overhaul how you trade your currency. You have to practice the discipline of deep immersion. Deep immersion is the radical act of treating a single conversation as if it is the only event occurring in the entire universe at that exact moment. It requires a hard, uncompromising boundary. When someone is speaking to you, you must make a physical shift. If you have a phone in your hand, you put it face down on the table. Or better yet, you put it in your pocket. You physically turn your shoulders to face them. You look them directly in the eyes. And then, you execute the hardest part. You stop preparing your reply. Most of us do not listen to understand. We listen to reload. While the other person is speaking, our ego is already formulating our response, our advice, or our counter-argument. This is still a form of mental time travel. You are living 5 seconds in the future. Deep immersion requires you to silence the ego. You absorb their words without plotting your next move. You listen to the cadence of their voice. You watch the subtle micro-expressions on their face. You give them the full, heavy, immovable weight of your presence. When you do this, the results are almost terrifyingly powerful. People are so starved for genuine attention in the modern world that when you finally give it to them, they will look at you differently. They will feel a magnetic pull toward you. In business, it builds unshakable trust and authority faster than any negotiation tactic. In relationships, it instantly diffuses tension and creates profound, bulletproof intimacy. It takes immense discipline. Your fragmented brain will scream at you to look away, to check the notification, to break the tension of the eye contact. Do not look away. Hold the line. Stay in the room. Stop handing out counterfeit money to the people you claim to love. Reclaim your currency and start spending it where it actually matters. Chapter 7: The Digital Pacifier. You wake up. The room is still dark. Your eyes are barely open, and your mind has not yet fully transitioned from sleep into waking consciousness. But before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches out in the dark. Your fingers blindly search the top of the nightstand until they find the cold, smooth glass rectangle. You pick it up. The screen illuminates, casting a harsh blue glow across your face. You swipe open an app, and instantly, a flood of data pours into your vulnerable, half-awake brain. Within 30 seconds, you have consumed the political outrage of a stranger, the curated vacation photos of a former coworker, a catastrophic global news headline, and 3 targeted advertisements. Your day has not even officially begun, and you have already surrendered your sovereignty. You have handed the keys to your nervous system over to an algorithm. This is not a rare occurrence. This is the default morning routine for the vast majority of the modern world. Let us be incredibly clear about what is happening here. I am not going to give you a lecture about how technology is inherently evil. It is not. A smartphone is an absolute miracle of human engineering. It is a high-precision tool. It is a scalpel capable of connecting you to the entirety of human knowledge and streamlining your existence in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. But a scalpel is designed for surgery. If you carry a scalpel around in your pocket and nervously play with the blade every single time you feel bored, anxious, or uncomfortable, you are going to bleed to death. We are no longer using our phones as tools. We are using them as digital pacifiers. Think about why you give a baby a pacifier. The baby is crying because it is experiencing friction. It is tired, hungry, or overwhelmed. You put a piece of plastic in its mouth. and the baby immediately stops crying. The pacifier does not actually solve the baby's problem. It does not provide nutrition or fix the exhaustion. It simply occupies the baby's senses so completely that it forgets it was uncomfortable in the first place. As adults, we do the exact same thing. You are standing in line at a coffee shop. There is a 2-minute wait. The silence feels slightly awkward. You feel a microscopic dose of social friction. So, what do? You reach into your pocket, pull out the pacifier, and start scrolling. You are sitting on the couch after a long, stressful day of work. The quiet of your living room forces you to confront the low-grade anxiety humming in your chest. You reach for the pacifier. You are using a supercomputer as an emotional anesthetic. Every time you mindlessly unlock your screen, you are actively choosing to trade the gritty, three-dimensional reality of your actual life for a flat, two-dimensional illusion. You must understand the scale of this trade. It is not just a harmless habit. Let us look at the math again. If you spend just 3 hours a day mindlessly scrolling on your phone, which is well below the national average, that adds up to over 1,000 hours a year. That is 45 entire 24-hour days you are spending a month and a half every single year staring dead-eyed into a piece of glass. If you live for another 40 years, you will spend 5 entire years of your remaining lifespan looking at a screen. 5 years. Think of what you could do with 5 years of uninterrupted focus. Think of the depth you could build in your relationships. Think of the art you could create, the peace you could cultivate, and the legacy you could build. Instead, you are donating those 5 years to tech companies so they can sell your attention to advertisers. You are paying for their wealth with your lifespan. So, how do we break the pacifier habit? The first step is to accept a brutal reality. Willpower is a myth. If you try to fight your phone using sheer willpower, you will lose every single time. You are fighting a war against thousands of the smartest behavioral psychologists and neuroscientists on the planet. They have designed these apps specifically to hijack your dopamine system, exploit your evolutionary vulnerabilities, and keep you scrolling. Your willpower is a finite resource that depletes throughout the day. Their algorithms do not sleep. To win this war, you cannot rely on willpower. You must rely on environment design. You have to build a physical environment that makes unconscious consumption mathematically impossible. I call this the phone basket technique. When you walk through the front door of your home after work, your phone does not stay in your pocket. It does not go on the kitchen counter, and it absolutely never goes to the dining table. The moment it crosses the threshold of your home, it goes into a physical basket or a designated drawer in another room. If your phone is in your pocket, it is a loaded weapon. If it is sitting face up on the table while you eat dinner, it is a gravitational black hole. Even if you do not touch it, the mere physical presence of the phone drains your cognitive bandwidth because a fraction of your brain is constantly anticipating the next vibration. Put the phone in the basket. If you need to use the tool, if you need to send a specific text or check a specific email, you physically walk over to the basket, stand there, execute the task, put the phone back down, and walk away. By forcing yourself to physically relocate to use the device, you introduce friction into the process. You eliminate the unconscious, automatic reach into your pocket. You transform the phone from an attached appendage back into what it was always meant to be, a stationary tool. Next, you must establish analog hours. The first hour of your day and the last hour of your day must be fiercely protected from the digital world. No screens in the bedroom. Buy a $5 analog alarm clock. When you wake up, let your brain wake up to the actual world. Look out the window. Feel the temperature of the air. Drink a glass of water. Command your own morning before you allow the chaos of the world to command you. Living without the pacifier is going to be incredibly uncomfortable at first. You will experience phantom vibrations in your pocket. You will feel an intense, almost physical withdrawal when you sit on the couch and realize you have nothing to scroll through. You will have to sit in the heavy silence, and you will have to face the friction of your own thoughts. But on the other side of that withdrawal is your life. You will start to notice the exact shade of the sky. You will hear the subtle change in your partner's tone of voice. You will reclaim your cognitive depth, and you will suddenly find that you have an abundance of time. The pixels will never love you back. Put the glass down, step out of the metaverse, and rejoin the living. Chapter 8. Memento Mori. Picture the frozen frontier of Germania, nearly 2,000 years ago. Inside a dimly lit leather tent, surrounded by the brutal reality of war, sits the most powerful human being on the face of the earth. He commands the entire Roman Empire. With a single word, he can order the execution of thousands. He possesses wealth beyond modern comprehension. He is treated by his subjects not merely as a king, but as a living god. Yet, in the quiet, freezing hours of the night, Marcus Aurelius is not writing about his wealth. He is not writing about his power or his conquests or how to extract more pleasure from the world. He is writing in his private journal, actively reminding himself that he is going to die. You could leave life right now, he writes to himself. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He was practicing an ancient philosophy that would later be immortalized in 2 Latin words, Memento Mori. Remember you must die. In the modern world, we treat death as a catastrophic failure. We sanitize it. We hide it behind the closed doors of hospitals. We consider it morbid, depressing, and entirely impolite to discuss in casual conversation. We spend billions of dollars on supplements, surgeries, and biohacking, all in a desperate, frantic attempt to outrun the one inevitable truth of our biology. Because we refuse to look at death, we live under the toxic hallucination that our time is infinite. And because we believe our time is infinite, we allow the trivial to absolutely dominate our lives. Think about the things that ruined your mood this past week. Someone cut you off in traffic. A stranger left a sarcastic comment on your social media post. Your internet connection was slow. A coworker sent an email with a slightly passive-aggressive tone. When you are operating under the illusion of infinite time, a rude email feels like a massive emotional crisis. You will spend an entire weekend agonizing over it. You will complain about it to your partner. You will let it infect your nervous system and hijack your peace. Now, I want you to apply the magnifying glass of death. Imagine a doctor walks into the room right now and tells you that you have exactly 3 days left to live. The hourglass is entirely empty. The game is over. In that exact moment of realization, what happens to the rude email? What happens to the dent in your car? What happens to the fact that the barista got your coffee order wrong? They instantly evaporate. They do not just become smaller, they cease to exist entirely. The lens of mortality violently separates the trivial from the essential. When you are staring at the end of your life, you do not care about the email. You care about the sun on your face. You care about the exact sound of your child's laugh. You care about the feeling of your partner's hand in yours. Death is not a tragedy to be ignored. It is the ultimate compass. The Stoics understood that meditating on your own mortality is not supposed to make you depressed. It is supposed to induce a profound, unshakable state of awe when you remember that you are a dying animal floating on a tiny rock in the middle of a cold, infinite void. the ordinary ceases to be ordinary. It becomes miraculous. The morning commute you complain about every day, you are only going to make that drive a finite number of times. One day, you will turn the key in the ignition for the absolute last time. The dishes sitting in the sink that you resent washing, they are proof that you have food, that you have a home, and that you have a family to feed. One day, the sink will be perfectly clean, the house will be perfectly quiet, and you would give anything to have the noisy, chaotic mess back. Memento Mori is the antidote to the hedonic treadmill. It is the cure for the arrival fallacy. It forces you to stop demanding that the universe provide you with constant, thrilling entertainment. And it teaches you to find absolute reverence in the mundane. You do not need to climb a mountain in the Himalayas to experience awe. You do not need a spiritual awakening. You simply need to sit at your kitchen table, hold a warm cup of coffee in your hands, and fully comprehend the fragile, fleeting, mathematically impossible miracle that you are currently breathing. You are alive today. You are walking on the surface of the earth. And one day, sooner than your ego wants to admit, you will return to the dirt. Do not wait for a terminal diagnosis to wake you up. Do not wait for a tragedy to force you into the present moment. The tragedy is already happening every single time you allow a trivial annoyance to steal a day of your life. Keep death close. Invite it to sit beside you at the table. When you feel the friction of the modern world rising in your chest, when the anxiety spikes, when the anger flares over an insignificant inconvenience, pull the lens back. Look at the tombstone. Look at the timeline of the universe. Ask yourself, is this actually worth the finite sand in my hourglass? If the answer is no, drop it immediately. Let the trivial burn away and step violently back into the awe of right now. Chapter 9, The Legacy Audit. I want you to visualize a room. It is a quiet room filled with rows of chairs, soft lighting, and a heavy, suffocating silence. At the front of the room sits a wooden box. It is your funeral. Look at the people sitting in the chairs. Look at your family in the front row. Look at your friends, your colleagues, and your acquaintances scattered throughout the back. One by one, people are going to stand up, walk to the front of the room, and summarize your entire existence on this planet in a few short minutes. What are they actually going to say? I do not mean what you hope they will say. I mean based entirely on the exact trajectory of how you are living your life right now. Today, what is the most honest thing they could say about you? Will they stand in front of your casket and say, "He always responded to his emails within 5 minutes. His inbox was perfectly organized"? Will they cry and say, "She was always so incredibly busy. She never had time to sit still, but her quarterly projections were always flawless"? Will they say, "He spent 4 hours a day scrolling through social media and he never lost an argument in the comment section"? Of course not, because when the final curtain falls, the marketplace metrics we spend our entire lives obsessing over are instantly rendered meaningless. There is a powerful psychological framework that separates our values into 2 distinct categories: resume virtues and eulogy virtues. Your resume virtues are the skills you bring to the marketplace. They are your efficiency, your output, your technical expertise, and your ability to generate capital. These are the virtues that get you promoted. They are the virtues that buy the house and fund the retirement account. They are not evil, and they are not useless. In a capitalist society, they are necessary for survival. But your eulogy virtues are entirely different. Your eulogy virtues are what you bring to the human condition. They are your courage, your honesty, your capacity for deep love, and your willingness to sacrifice for others. They are the way you made people feel when they were terrified. They are the undivided attention you gave your child when you were exhausted. They are the quiet, uncelebrated moments of integrity when no one else was watching. The great tragedy of the modern human is that we spend 95% of our time, energy, and cognitive bandwidth optimizing our resume virtues, and we leave the leftover scraps for our eulogy virtues. We are building monumental resumes and entirely bankrupt eulogies. You tell yourself that you are working this hard for your family. You tell yourself that the 80-hour work weeks, the constant travel, and the fragmented attention at the dinner table are sacrifices you are making to provide them with a better life. But what kind of life are you actually providing if you are never psychologically present to share it with them? You cannot buy a legacy of depth. You cannot outsource your presence. It is time to conduct a ruthless, uncompromising legacy audit. You have to look at the architecture of your current life and ask yourself if the person you are becoming is the person you actually want to be remembered as. How do you perform this audit? You do not do it by looking at your intentions. Intentions are hallucinations. You do it by looking at the cold, hard data of your daily habits. Show me your calendar and show me your bank statement, and I will show you your actual religion. You might claim that your family is your highest priority. But if I look at your calendar and I see 50 hours dedicated to your career, 12 hours dedicated to your screens, and only 3 hours of fractured, exhausted time dedicated to your spouse and children, then your family is not your priority. They are a footnote. Your calendar does not lie. Your screen time report does not lie. They are the brutal, objective ledgers of what you actually value. If the audit reveals that you are bankrupting your eulogy to build your resume, you must course correct immediately. You cannot wait for things to slow down. Things will never slow down. The world will always demand more of your time. The inbox will never be permanently empty. The company will always take as much of your life force as you are willing to surrender. You have to draw the boundary yourself. Course correcting does not mean you quit your job and move to the woods. It means you stop letting the urgent entirely consume the essential. It means you begin to inject deliberate, uncompromising friction into your schedule. You block out 2 hours on a Sunday morning, you leave the phone in the drawer, and you take your child to the park. And for those 2 hours, you do not just exist in the same physical space as them. You inhabit their world. You push them on the swing, and you watch the exact expression on their face. You build a memory that will outlive you. You look at your partner, you close the laptop, and you ask them what they are afraid of right now. And you actually listen to the answer. A legacy is not a statue. It is not a building with your name on it. A legacy is the emotional residue you leave behind in the nervous systems of the people who loved you. It is the echo of your presence. If you died today, the corporation you work for would post a job listing for your replacement by Tuesday morning. Your clients would eventually find another vendor. The marketplace will move on without you in a matter of days. But your family will sit at an empty dinner table for the rest of their lives. Stop giving your absolute best energy to the people who will forget you in a month and leaving your exhausted scraps for the people who will mourn you forever. Audit your life, shift your weight, and start building a eulogy worth reading. Chapter 10. The Music Still Inside You. If you were to search for the wealthiest piece of real estate on the planet, where would you look? You might point to the diamond mines of South Africa. You might point to the oil fields of the Middle East or the financial districts of New York and London, where trillions of dollars electronically change hands every single day. But you would be wrong. The wealthiest place on earth is not a bank, and it is not a mine. It is the cemetery. Walk through the quiet, manicured lawns of any graveyard in the world and look at the stones. Beneath the dirt lies an unimaginable fortune. Down there, buried forever in the dark, are millions of unwritten books. There are brilliant businesses that were never launched. There are world-changing inventions that never saw the light of day. There are profound, soul-shaking apologies that were swallowed by pride, and deep, unconditional declarations of love that were never spoken out loud. All of that infinite potential, all of that human magic, was carried directly into the grave by people who believed they had more time. They believed the arrival fallacy. They believed that someday was a real place on the calendar. They told themselves they would write the book when the kids were older. They told themselves they would launch the business when the economy was a little more stable. They told themselves they would apologize to their estranged brother when the pain had faded. They waited for the perfect moment, and while they were waiting, the hourglass quietly ran out of sand. There is a philosophy for living that is both terrifying and profoundly liberating. It is the absolute commitment to dying empty. Dying empty means that you refuse to take your best work to the grave. It means you recognize that your gifts, your ideas, and your love do not actually belong to you. They are not meant to be hoarded in the dark corners of your mind. You are simply a vessel. Your only job on this planet is to take the intangible music inside your head and violently force it into the physical world, no matter how messy or imperfect the translation might be. Perfectionism is not a high standard. Perfectionism is a socially acceptable form of cowardice. When you refuse to launch the project, write the draft, or make the art because it isn't ready yet, you are not being a meticulous craftsman. You are being ruled by your ego. You are terrified that the world will judge you, so you hide behind the safety of preparation. But preparation, when taken too far, is just sophisticated procrastination. And this brings us to a very uncomfortable truth about the exact moment you are in right now. You are listening to an audiobook about maximizing your life. You are consuming self-improvement content. Your brain is releasing a steady drip of dopamine, making you feel incredibly productive, inspired, and motivated. It is a trap. Passive consumption is the ultimate hiding place for the modern intellectual. You can spend the next decade reading every book on philosophy, listening to every podcast on productivity, and attending every seminar on human optimization. You can become an absolute encyclopedia of psychological frameworks. But if you do not close the book, put down the headphones, and aggressively execute those ideas in the messy, chaotic friction of the real world, you have accomplished absolutely nothing. You have just been doing push-ups in the waiting room. The time for rehearsal is over. You do not need another piece of advice. You do not need another morning routine, another productivity hack, or another perfectly calibrated psychological framework. You already know exactly what you need to do. You have known it for months, maybe years. It is the quiet, terrifying thing that flashes through your mind when you lay your head on the pillow at night. It is the difficult conversation you have been avoiding. It is the creative project you are too scared to start. It is the toxic relationship you are too comfortable to leave. The conditions will never be perfect. The stars will never align. You will never feel entirely ready, because the human nervous system is not designed to feel ready for the unknown. It is designed to crave safety. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you will wait forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the realization that leaving your music unplayed is a far greater tragedy than playing it out of tune. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for a sign from the universe. Stop acting as if you have 1,000 years to live. The math is counting down. The ledger is open. The graveyard is waiting. Today, right now, in the glorious imperfect friction of this exact moment, you must start pouring yourself out. Make the scary phone call. Forgive the person who does not deserve it just to free your own soul. Launch the embarrassingly imperfect first draft of your business. Tell the people in your house that you love them with a terrifying, unshielded vulnerability. Do not go to the grave with your song still inside you. Die empty. The last time, there is a quiet, haunting reality to the human experience that we spend almost our entire lives trying to ignore. One day, without any warning, without any grand announcement, you are going to do something for the absolute last time. If you are a parent, there was a day when you picked up your child, carried them in your arms, set them back down, and then never picked them up again. They got too big. They grew up, but in that exact moment, when you were setting them down, you did not know it was the last time. You were probably rushing. You were probably thinking about what you had to cook for dinner, or the emails you had to answer. There will be a last time you walk through the front door of the house you currently live in. There will be a last time you swim in the ocean. There will be a last ordinary Tuesday that you get to spend with your aging parents. And the most terrifying, beautiful part of this truth is that no bell rings to warn you. The universe does not pause and tap you on the shoulder to say, "Pay attention. This is it. You will never get to experience this again." If you knew it was the last time, you would not be looking at your phone. You would not be thinking about your retirement account or stressing over a passive-aggressive comment a coworker made 3 days ago. If you knew it was the last time, you would drop the anchor. You would soak in the exact temperature of the room. You would memorize the sound of the laughter, and you would hold the eye contact just a few seconds longer. You would treat the moment with the absolute, uncompromising reverence it deserves. But because you do not know, you treat the moment casually. You treat it like a cheap commodity. You assume there will always be a tomorrow, so you casually discard today. This is the ultimate cure for the illusion of someday. You do not need to wait for a tragedy to teach you the value of your own life. You do not need to wait for the deathbed to realize that the ordinary moments were actually the spectacular ones. You have the power to step out of the waiting room right now. You have reached the end of this journey. The concepts, the math, and the psychological audits we have discussed are now in your hands. But remember, reading a blueprint does not build a house. Passive consumption changes nothing. In a few minutes, this audiobook will end and the silence will return. The real world will immediately come rushing back in. The phone will vibrate. The inbox will demand your attention. The friction of your daily life will rise up to meet you, and the hedonic treadmill will invite you to step back on and start running. You have a choice. You can let your mind drift back into the comfortable anesthesia of distraction. You can go back to waiting for the finish line. Or you can rebel. You can choose to be the sovereign of your own attention. You can look at the messy, imperfect, wildly beautiful reality standing right in front of you, and you can finally decide to inhabit it. Take a deep breath, put down the screen, look up. Your life is not waiting for you in the future. It is happening right now, and it is entirely yours to claim. Welcome to the present. This concludes our journey today. Thank you for listening. If you found value in this, please leave a like. It really helps the channel. I'd also love to hear your favorite takeaway in the comments below. Subscribe for more audiobooks, and I'll see you in the next one.